Hey everyone, it's actually Jeb Bush, and I'm back with my guy Seth, and we are here to rip some UFC strike packs we got from their most recent challenge, and just talk about UFC strike as a whole. The year is almost over, so we kind of want to reminisce on everything that's happened and what we're excited about in the future. So thanks as always for joining me, Seth. How you been doing?
Dude, I've been doing excellent. I've been missing you. That's 100% fact.
Same
Uh,
man.
I think that end of the year review and end of the year little pack rip celebration is going to be fun. I was trying to think like, what are some of the things that we could get out of these packs? These are really pretty decent. They're the fully loaded ones, right? So these are
Yeah,
the original $50 packs. These are S zeros, right?
yeah,
And this
yeah,
got to be
yeah.
the end of the S zeros. Are we getting close?
I would think so. I would think so. I mean, like, none of these moments are gonna have any like super value unless you pull a champion. But I'm always hyped to stack more S zeros because we know that there's probably a good chance there's going to be some S0 burning challenges in the future. And I love S0. Like, it's the first set, so I'm down to stack them like more and more and more.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And if you did burn all 20, don't forget you did get that Glover, which is that was a $30 moment right there. I think
Yeah.
$25 moment. It is pretty crazy though that they passed out 3,600 fully loaded packs. So that's a lot. 18,000 moments burned at the end of the year. Do you know the total burn count by the like now here at the end?
Yeah, I think they posted something in the Discord about like the stats. I think let me see. We burned over 200,000 UFC strike moments this year. And
That's crazy.
that's
It's
kind
crazy
of
they had that many too, though. Like,
yeah,
when
yeah,
you
yeah,
think
yeah.
about it.
But it's kind of crazy too cuz I would have to I don't remember exactly when UFC strike started, but I don't think it's a year old.
February.
So yeah, so it's they did it in less than a year. They
Yeah.
didn't start burning probably till March or April. So maybe
I
June
mean,
even?
definitely. I don't think March. I
Yeah.
think they did jump on burning way quicker than obviously any of the other products
Yeah.
did.
Maybe
But
in
but I mean, it had to have been it was S1 before they started burning S zeros. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. But that's the thing. I mean, they like to your point, like you said, they jumped on it early, and the fact that they burned 200,000 and basically have been operating like net negative ever since they started, or like I would say at least the last like 5 or 6 months is really, really cool to see.
well, I actually now am extremely interested in that. So I'm going to go to my burned moments actually. I've burned
Oh, that's
161 moments this year, and
okay.
their very first moment I burnt was for Hamzat. That was their first burn challenge. I've done every single burn challenge except we were talking about earlier. I accidentally didn't hybrid challenge the Gilbert Burns. I'm an idiot. It was a bad. It was such a huge mistake on my part. I wanted to have completed every challenge on my own, and I just goofed and I just didn't burn them in time. But other than that, I've maxed it out. Um, we've got Series Zero. I burned this on 6/18 at
Okay, yeah.
9:30 a.m.
Yeah,
So
so June.
yeah.
Wow.
So,
200,000 in 6 months.
yep,
That's impressive.
wild.
And how many did you say you burned
I've burned
total?
161, so I'm close to like the
So
top of
you
the.
yeah, so they just announced today, UFC Strike announced they're having 3 raffles with giveaways, and the cutoffs are 25, 75, and 150 burned moments. So you're gonna get to enter all 3 raffles. I think
That's right.
that's sick. I think I'm at like 110, so I'm gonna get into the first 2. But that 75 one, I think there's gonna be a huge difference between the 75 and the 25, and I think being in the 3rd raffle is going to be, super rewarding just because I doubt there are that many people have burned 150 plus.
Yeah. Did they? It seems like the people who are super active went for it.
Mhm.
And you know what really helped the burn challenge? Hamzat getting up to like $600 at one point.
Yeah.
Like people
Yeah, yeah.
realizing, like, okay, well, somehow, and it's still over the value at $330 right now. You could have, because at the time, Hamzat was pretty expensive. Remember, you were going to have to burn 10 of them. They were at least $30 a piece. You were looking at
Yeah.
spending at least 300. And people were like, there's no way that this rare is going to be worth it because none of the rares were even close to that price, really.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
basically the only one that was even close was Connor, and Connor was still hovering around 300.
Mhm.
No one had any idea what was actually going to come out of it, and it wasn't going to be his debut, and this had never been done before. That thing, only 300 or 300 plus were made, right? So it just skyrocketed. And if you look at the price now, yes, I think it's back down to 330, but it's still the bottleneck for the rare series. And
Well,
it's
and on
still
top
like
of
way more expensive than just buy if you held on to those Hamzats now, because I think those are
correct.
only like $5.
Yeah. Well, and then on top of that, the Hamzat Challenger moment has been used for a challenge or two.
That's
So on
true.
t
That's true.
so you've
Multiple.
gotten
Yeah, you're right.
utility out of holding it as well, which I think is really cool. But yeah, I mean, speaking of Hamzat, he is someone we can pull in these packs, even though he's not gonna be worth, $30 like he used to be. But I think
Oh, $5 pool is not bad for
yeah.
burning moments. And now
Yeah,
here's something
it's
interesting.
basically a free pack because we burned all those moments, and then we got a challenger moment that was worth what we burned. So this is all
Right.
gravy, you know?
Uh, here's something interesting. How many S zeros did you burn?
Oh, I have no idea. Not a lot, not a lot, because I didn't do
Most
the
of the stuff
Hamzat
I
channel.
burn is S1.
Yeah, same thing.
It's just they made better their S0. They came out of the gate swinging with some really good. I'm starting to dwindle down, but I know
Mhm.
you're sitting on a big stack of Gary's, hoping that Gary's going to get some sort of
Challenger.
rookie
Yeah,
challenger debut. Yeah, I don't know. And we're about to switch over to the next year, and I think that means that we're switching over to Series 2. Officially, we're going to be dropping Series 1, right? Isn't that the
I
plan?
think I mean, that makes the most sense. Maybe that won't happen right, like, at the beginning of January, but it's gotta happen pretty soon, right?
Yeah. I
Like,
mean, they have
maybe.
to do it like on a year basis.
Yeah, so maybe they do it in February, like when strike officially started, but
Right.
it's gotta happen soon. So,
I
yeah,
think
I've been doing the same thing. Unless S zeros are required, I do not burn them under any circumstance.
yeah, it just feels like there's going to be more. Yeah.
S0 challenges, yeah. And to your
Yeah,
point, there's so many good fighters in S0. Like
a
even a
lot.
couple, even like I think Ilya Topuria, am I saying that right?
Taporia.
Topuria. He was one of those fighters in S0 that I wasn't super hyped about, and now he's someone that a lot of people are like, "Oh my gosh, this guy is legit."
Oh, he's completely taken over Patty's, like, limelight. Yeah, no, I mean,
Yeah,
he's somebody I had been stacking from the get-go because his record was insane.
yeah,
And so I was like, "Okay, well, this is a rookie fighter who has an opportunity to get big, and his moments are cheap." There's a couple of them that are still on there. The same thing was going on with Ian Gary. But I looked at
yeah,
basically every rookie fighter when this first started, and I was like, "What's gonna matter down the road when these fighters pop off?" Now, is it a gamble? Sure, but it's a gamble I'm willing to take for $6 a moment. So
yeah.
I was picking those up for a long time because it was one of the only ones that stayed relatively cheap. You could
Mhm.
I probably spent more than what they are now, but
Yeah,
yeah,
you
if you go
definitely
to
did. I think you can get them for like $2 now.
yeah, $3 right now for Taporia. But dude, this is a great one. Depending on how many of these get burned, like to burn these through to get a rare eventually. Like to get, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like this is a great moment to stack a few of if you like S0. I won't
Yeah,
be
I had
upset to open any of those.
yeah, I actually had 9 of them. I realized when I was going through my moments trying to figure out what to burn for this challenge, and I went and bought another one just to make sure I had
Yeah, I feel like
10.
you've been very you've stuck to the 10 number a lot. I feel like you went
Yeah.
through and you've gone and gotten 10 of most of them.
At the very least, if like I think I have 12 Nagano's, but at the very least, if it's a fighter that I think is like super exciting and like I mean with Nagano, he's someone who's already kind of carved out his legacy. But I mean, even with Gary, I think I own 25 of those just because I think he's such an exciting fighter. I think he's got a lot of potential. And he's a fighter who's like I would want to own their rare if there's a burn challenge for him.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Uh,
Especially after seeing what happened with Patty and not participating in that one. Because I was one of those people that didn't think it would be. There's no way this would be worth like you would get a moment that was worth more than what you're burning. So,
Mm-hmm.
or Hamzat. Sorry, Hamzat. I didn't do Patty either.
Hamza was a hard one. I think
Yeah.
everybody was nervous. I could have done multiple, and I didn't, and I regretted it. I did the one though. I just because I wanted to participate in every one, and then I goofed on Gilbert, which is so annoying because I've done every other.
Yeah.
um, and then I think honestly, only one burn challenge has not paid off, and
Mhm.
it's still the same one. It's Zhang Weilei. That burn
Oh,
challenge
yeah, yeah,
was
yeah.
the only one that I think ended up being like really not worth it unless you look at it today. If you look at it today, I think if you take the price of what they would be today, if you
Mhm.
sold them at the time, it was not worth it. But I think if you look at it as of just today, like it probably was worth it. Let's see fandom moments. Let's look at the cheapest fandom moment is Magomed, Adrian, Yanis, and then let's see, where's the Zhang? Okay, Zhang's $15. Yeah, it's honestly, it still might not be worth it for what
Yeah.
you had to burn. I think you had to burn like 20 moments.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, there is a level of risk to this stuff, and it's not guaranteed. But just the fact that I think most of these burn challenges, like I tweeted about this a little while ago, where I was like, dude, as opposed to like how Top Shot when they started doing burning, the rewards you were getting kind of didn't match how much you were burning, and it was almost they were like, hey, help us fix this mistake. I feel that like UFC Strike is like, no, we will like give you something that is way cooler than what you're burning. This is
Yeah,
something you should want, you know? Like the fact that we got packs on top of like an additional challenger, like there it's a no-brainer to burn 20 moments to try and get it. If you
right.
enjoy the UFC and if you like think this product has any sort of legs. So,
Here's something that I hope that they do something for, right? And I
mhm.
guess we haven't even opened the packs yet. We're just kind of
Yeah.
talking and having fun, but I really hope that they do something for those early adopters and those people which they have been
Yeah.
don't get I'm not
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
that they haven't, but I want to see something for the people who got hosed on Israel Adesanya, because the very first fandom moment went from $300 to $30. It's a
Yeah.
negative 10x, which is
And on
rough.
top of that, in order to get him, it wasn't
You
like
got
there
to
was a
spend
challenge.
500
Yeah, it was a spin challenge. So,
net spend.
yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, net spin too. So you couldn't
Net
like
spend. There was no
spend
like,
and
yeah, loop.
yeah, yeah. So I agree with that. It's funny you mentioned that because I actually checked out Adesanya recently, and I was like, oh, $30. So I picked up a second one because
I
I still have
I
my
picked up a
first.
second one at 200 and something. Yeah, like I'm like, dude, 30, but the problem is there's 2,000 of them.
Yeah,
Like that's a lot. That's a lot of them. But at $30, like part of me just wants to be like, should I just start stacking some of these? This is his debut moment on the platform.
yeah. Well, it's a debut moment and it's a champion moment, which like I know it's not like a champion tier moment, but in the moment he's winning
Oh
the
yeah, he gets
belt.
belted. So he gets
So
belted uh similar to Yuri Prohaska gets belted in his moment, which is
mhm.
super rare. And that is his first belt. So there's not this was him
To
unifying the belt, correct?
so to me, it's like a personal grail. So even though like I did the net spin, I got the moment, and am I bummed that it's a little lower? Yeah, but also I think part of it too was at the time the mint count made sense in core like relative to the contender mints and the champion mints, and then UFC Strike made changes based on user participation and all that, which I think that's a good thing. Like before 2000 was like very small, and then they came out the Challenger series where like the highest mint is 1500. So you're like, oh, okay, well, in context, now that we have more context and this maybe isn't as super rare as we thought originally. But I'm honestly like obviously it's a bummer, but I still like I mean Israel Adesanya is my favorite fighter ever. There's like that's why I bought a second one instead of sold the one I had and just
Right.
like it was like, oh well.
Ate it.
Like yeah, I plan on holding that moment for that's like a personal grail to me. All
Um
right. You want to rip some of these packs?
yeah, let's do it.
All right, I'll go first. So, like we said, I unless like these are all going to be like relatively like cheap series zero moments unless we get lucky enough to to pull a champion.
I just realized something that's driving me crazy. Do you own all the hype moments?
I think I own them all except I think I don't own one of the Nate Diaz's.
That's the only one I don't own, and I'm about to go buy it right now because it's like I was like, wait, why would they not do a snapshot of hype? Like, why would they not like the way that they do things like that? This feels like a moment that, like, okay, I gotta have I just want to finish the year out having all those, and I'm very close to having every other moment in the. What do you think? Do you think you should just have every hype
That
moment?
yeah, no. It's funny you mentioned that because I totally forgot about that, but that was something on my list to go do because that Nate Diaz isn't the bottleneck anymore either. So we knew the price was going to go down a bit on it.
Yeah,
So
I
I
$17,
that's on
18
my list
bucks.
of
It's just
things
like
to
I'm
do.
just gonna buy it. I'm just gonna buy it and not think about it. I'm just gonna buy
Yeah,
it.
so before I think it was like 25 and I knew it would go down. So I'll have
Right.
to scoop that too then.
All right, there you
Ooh,
go.
and
There's
Nagano.
either Taporia, an Ngannou, and a Chandler. All great.
Yeah.
And at one point, if they ever get back to these prices, we're looking at $6 for the Taporia, 18 to I mean, geez, Ngannou got up to like $50 at one point, but
Yeah,
they'll
he was
never
at
get that
50.
high again.
I'm
And
so
Michael
down to
Chandler
stack
was
Nag
18 tops.
I'm so down to stack Nicholas just because I there has to be some sort of burn challenge for him, and having a challenger moment of him would be incredible.
Yeah, which we have no, we have just champion. Sorry, there is no challenger moment.
Just a
Well,
champion,
you
yeah.
know, yeah, we have a champion moment. We have a 24,000 mint common moment, which nobody is also burning. So that's the only problem with that.
Yeah.
A Cheyenne, and Chris Barnett. These are actually some of the very few moments that I have burned from S0 when it wasn't
Yeah.
directed exactly to it. So that was kind of a weak pack, but who cares? That's burn fodder for your next challenge. I love that Chris
Yeah,
Barnett
yeah,
moment
yeah.
though. Don't get me like that was one
Can't
of the
complain
best.
about that.
Huggy Bear is the man. He
The
went through a
front flip?
super tough year. Yeah, it's so good. Also, we have to appreciate the fandom moments and the moment class sometimes of UFC. Sometimes I forget because it got for a little bit, it became a very numbers game, and then we were forgetting to appreciate
Mhm.
these awesome moments. And I hate that. Now it was starting to be like, okay, well, wait, why are we doing this? Like, why are we a Patty,
Patty, can't complain about
Dan,
that.
and Kennedy both burners?
Yeah, definitely. All right. No,
See if
no
I can share it
champion
up.
for me. Yeah, no champion for me. But like you said, I mean, I got another Nagano, I got another Patty, I got some additional burn fodder for the next challenge. Can't complain. Like even in my situation, like I still got the challenger moment as the reward. So like that was all extra on top. So
So
obviously I was crossing my fingers, really hoping we'd get that Nagano, but no such, or the champion Nagano, I should say, but no such luck.
something I love to do and just make sure is I go to my uncollected. I love that you can sort by that, so I know exactly what I have. So these are the 3 moments I have left to buy. That was such a pain. Dude, that's so painful. It was like $6 in moments that I had multiples of that I could have just burned.
Jeez.
But I need the Jim Miller, the Fizzy, the Fizzy, which I don't know why I haven't bought this yet at $28. This thing was $160 for months.
Yeah,
Months. And like
I think I scooped him up recently.
yeah, that's why the only reason I don't have him is because he was lambasted by like people who were they were hoarding this moment, and there wasn't like he is very good. He's a great prospect. This is a great moment, but it's one of those things where it was like it was not quite. It shouldn't have been $160.
Yeah.
And then this one was hitting 60 for a long time. So I'm glad I didn't pick them up then, but I need to get them now. And I do think that Gilbert isn't going much down much further at 398 as its thing. And Gilbert is just a fan favorite. It's a great moment.
True.
So let's see if
True.
I open some gold. Let's see if
Yeah.
we can pop open some gold. If we can pop open some gold, that would be really sick. Remember, if you got to open packs, if you get airdrop packs, remember you have to hit the UFC strike button, then go to your collection, and that takes you to the old
Dude, I will say that's one thing I hope that UFC
they
Strike prioritizes
fixes.
next year is just getting this, like the website, they made that massive improvement. It's so much better than it was
But
before,
it's
but
like
it's
2
still
websites.
yeah, it's still
Yeah.
sloppy. Like it needs to be like clean and
Oh,
efficient.
bro, it's like it's kind of embarrassing. if you didn't know, if you got airdrop packs, you may
Yeah.
never end up back at this page and be like, where are my packs? I don't get like
Yeah.
it's not good that you have to go to a different version of the site for it to look good. Now,
Yeah.
the side that looks good looks great.
It
Love
looks
it.
incredible.
All right, here we go. Let's go. Open these pack. Gilbert, man, I'm so bummed.
Dude, if we pull a champion here, that can fund it.
Oh, I mean, I gotta buy it anyway. Like I have to do. I need to finish this year out.
Yeah.
We got a Hamzat. We
Ooh,
got a
Hamzat.
Lee Jing, double Lees, and a triple digit. I'm excited about this pack. Hey, baby. Beautiful suit, man. He's become a new favorite. This was one of the moments I would have said when S0 started out. This was like one of those moments where I would have been like, no, that's probably the worst moment in the set. One of them.
Yeah. We definitely said that.
I completely disagree now. He's like, because of the same card. They were fighting on the same card, remember? And the beautiful suit. Everybody kept commenting on a suit and the leech. Okay, so here's the thing. This is all 3 leeches.
Yeah,
because he's getting choked out here as well. So this is an awesome pack. I feel like I got the triple leech pack.
That's huge.
I had to screenshot that. So okay, so after the Hamzat loss, everybody was like, "Oh, he sucks." No, Hamzat's just really good. He's actually Li Jingling is actually really, really good, and is like kind of the KO artist and like the star that like China wants. Like, he's actually awesome. I really like Leech now. The more I've learned about him, the more I follow the sport, or the more I followed him, because he was pretty at the time. He was just kind of like whatever ranked. I think he was. What was this?
To your point, he got just absolutely destroyed by Hamzat.
Mollywop, dude.
It wasn't just you who thought he was like a complete dud. Like everyone did.
But also but people also were like, oh wait, how could anybody beat Hamzat? Because going into the fight, people were like, oh, this is a good prospect. Li Jingling is a good fighter. Yeah. It's just so crazy that's wild. And it's crazy that I opened all 3 of them together. Okay, so love my first pack. I'm super happy with it.
Yeah, that's a good start.
I mean, obviously gold is gonna make me go crazy.
I love gold.
All right, pack number 2. We got Lee again. We got Danny Gay, and we got Julio Ars. We got another triple digiter though, so I'm happy with triple digits because I do keep my triple digits.
Same.
But yeah, I mean, this is extra far. Like, I don't need 15 Lees.
I mean, I don't know about that. Maybe you can become the Lee whale.
But I'm not loving this pack. It's okay.
It's all right.
It's got a triple digit to make up for something, but triple digits really don't matter in UFC. I don't think. It's more of a personal thing.
Yeah, it's cool to have a lower number.
Yeah. But at the same time, we talked about this. I think I talked about this with you very early on. All right, we got Terrence McKinney, who I do collect, Eli Taporia, who I do collect, and Edson Barbosa, another triple digiter, 117.
Jeez.
Wow. Well, that's good because that's not my new lowest Barboza, which I actually still like. Barboza got some of the nastiest kicks in the sport. Here's another thing, fun fact for you though. Barboza kind of got smothered by Bryce Mitchell, who is one of my favorite fighters.
Yeah.
Taporia just lost. Kind of wrecked Bryce Mitchell, which man, that was painful for me to watch. I love Bryce Mitchell, and he couldn't get it going. He was tough. He looked tough, but he just couldn't get done. And when that's the best thing that you say about a guy, he looked tough. That means you're getting your ass kicked.
He showed heart.
That's not a good thing to be saying about your fighter, though. He's like, oh, dude, he's tough. It's kind of the same thing with Michael Chandler, though. I love Michael Chandler, and he just almost wins every fight. Almost wins every fight.
He puts on a show. He puts on a show no matter what.
Him and Justin Gaethje, dude. I'm telling you, they're the two most, bad. And also Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier needs to be in that boat too. Like, it's going to be a fun fight.
Yeah. I agree.
I think we're losing those guys.
You think we're losing?
I think the old card. Well, I think they need to start pushing these guys out. Yes, they're getting to the point where it's like, why are we letting these same top 5 guys fight each other over and over?
Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying.
Where there's some young dudes who are like really hot for it. Okay, this is the worst pack. by
That's the
far. Not even this isn't even close.
Oh,
All right. So the Great White Hope, which is a terrible nickname. We
that's
got
a rough one.
Alex Morano, the Great White, Julio Ars, and Luke Sanders. Luke Sanders is only kind of funny because he's like, I think might be the most burned person.
Yeah, I
Uh,
believe I believe
I think he is, but they also use him when it comes to UFC poker. So you can use him as an enter fee into UFC
Oh,
poker.
okay. I didn't know
But
about that.
Alex just took a short notice fight. To be honest, love this guy. He's got a goofy body, and he just isn't like your typical like flashy fighter. He doesn't. He never. He literally says, "I won't ever be a champion." He just wants to fight and put on good fights, and I like that about him. And he could end up being a little fan favorite, especially if he just
Mhm.
keeps taking short nose fights. That seems what you have to do. But this is never going to be worth. Only people who are very tapped into UFC are going to know these guys. Luke might never fight again. I don't even know if he's in the UFC by the end of this year. Like now, I don't know if Luke is still there. I would have to look that up. Honestly, I don't know if Luke Sanders is still in the UFC.
I would take a gamble. I would take a gamble that he might not be. Oh, I was gonna say I'm buying that hype. I'm buying that hype
Oh, you're
moment
buying the
right
hype
now.
moment right
Sorry,
now?
make sure I have
That's
them
probably
all.
why you froze. So I will say a couple moments just so you guys can see what I'm buying real quick, just in case. I used to have like 15 rackets. Now I did get rid of a lot of rackets only because I knew as prices were going down, he was out for over a year from that knee injury. So I was like, okay, I can get rid of him
Yeah.
now while it was still at a certain point, and I can start picking him back up. I still think he could be light heavyweight champ eventually.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I thought this fight versus Yuri was going to be an incredible fight. I think that after watching Magomed Ankalaev versus Jan Blachowicz to end the pay per view, I think he could have beat either one of them. And I'm a big fan of Jan, and I like Magomed as
Mhm.
well. Yeah, so if he comes back 100%, I don't know if he will, but if he does, this guy, he's bad. So this is a fighter that I still really like. I do, like I said though, we don't even know if I don't think he's not training fully yet. He's still in recovery, I
Mhm.
think. I have one of every fighter. So obviously I just got my second one. So I've been burning Alex's. And then there's a couple fighters I collect. Like I love me some Arlovsky. But fighters
Mhm.
that I like haven't been wanting to burn. Saryukian. Armin Saryukian is one of those fighters that at this weight class, which is one of the best weight classes in the sport, with all the killers, he's only lost. Well, he lost the second time, but his only loss prior to his last loss was to the now 155 champion, who I still think he could beat. That was young. We're talking about, I don't know. That's a good one to could. Obviously, I still love Bryce Mitchell. Calvin Cater, I still think is pretty cool, but I'm willing to part with some of these. Charles Oliveira, I'm holding on to more than one.
Having Charles, I think I only have 2 or 3 of them. I kinda wanna buy a couple more of those.
It's still I don't know if he'll ever come back. Like I don't ever think he'll be champion again.
I don't
But
think he will, but I think his legacy's kinda already cemented, right? Like
I think that people here's the thing is I'm worried that he will somehow not get credit down the line if he it doesn't
yeah.
matter. To me, I stopped not crediting him because he is just a super fun fighter to watch. Just like we were talking, that 155, there's a couple of those fighters at the top that are just so fun. Cyril Gahn, I have him just because I still think that there needs to be another like rare. It feels like there should be a burn challenge for him.
He should for sure get a challenger moment.
Yeah. The Dan Ige only had the one. I still like Derek Lewis, but I keep slowly burning mine. Where I think I had 10 or so of these. Same with Barboza and Ngannou. I've still got, like you said, still got to hold on to those.
Yeah.
And then definitely Ian Gary. But I did burn a couple Ian Garys last time.
Mhm.
Taporia, I've got, my whatever, however many.
7.
Uh, yeah, only
I
7
got
actually.
3 Islams. Respect.
Yeah, I do have 3 Islams, and I was picking up Islams for very cheap, and I just was like, "Why are these getting so cheap?" I'm not really sure why,
I think
but
it's just post challenge people dump and
dude, these
that's
were over $120 forever, and now they're like,
No, they're
I
like
think I bought a
30, I
couple
think.
of these for
40.
like, yeah, 30 or $40.
Yeah.
Where I opened one, and then the other two, I was like, okay, these are way too cheap. Like at $30, I'm gonna buy any one I see at $30.
Yeah, I think I own 2. I pulled one in a reward pack, and then I think I bought one when it dipped like crazy. I was just like, "Okay, he's going to fight again for the belt. Like, there's no way I shouldn't have another one of these."
Yeah.
Jamal Hill, I like
Jamal
that.
Hill, I'm a bit of a stacker on. My stacks have dwindled like substantially though, like to where I used to have way bigger stack. I feel like 20 of stuff. Like that shows where a lot of these burns have gone. Even when it's like I have more Yuris for sure, more Eli Taporias than the last burn challenge. I burned a couple during them too, but yeah, my stacks have dwindled quite a bit.
Mhm.
But I do have a lot of duplicate rares. I still have not really gotten rid of Gaethjes because I still think that there's going to be a cool Gaethje moment that they could make. Kai Car France, for some reason, I still have a lot of those. I need to get rid of some of those. I still have a pretty good stack of Khabibs, but yeah, I actually have a decent. I opened up a bunch of these today, 3 of them today. Okay, I still kept 2. Yeah, I don't know. I like Matt Schnell still, but that's like a personal thing. I like Michael Chandler still. I'm trying to look. Yeah, but a lot of my stacks are like way down. I sold
Mhm.
one of my 3 patties, rare patties. I'm kind of glad I did when I sold it. I sold it at 180, and they're,
Nice.
I don't know, 50 or
Like
something
50
now.
now. Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't want to get rid of all of them. I still think Syed Nurmagomedov is really, really good. Still
Yeah.
like having multiple of him. You have like a million Sean O'Malley's, right?
Yeah, I have like 40. That might have not been the best decision, but
That's crazy that you have
I don't
40,
think
but
I think I'm like even on them, to be honest. I don't think they're like they haven't dipped
they
much lower
haven't
than I
like
paid
gone
for them.
down because
Yeah.
they were like the cheapest of the whole bunch.
Mhm. So
I
I'm
do
like,
have a whole bunch in the 3 digits, but or the 3
that's
in
sick. Yeah, I think I have 40 and then I have 1 challenger. So
yeah,
if
I
you
just
ever
have a
need Sean's, I will be in a good place.
well, that's where I've been actually buying more like repeat challengers than I have been lately on the I've been just
I think that's smart, especially if they're debuts of that challenger. I
and
like that a lot.
and just the fact that they're like cheaper like
Yeah.
than they used to be. And I remember how bad I wanted some of these challengers before. And so it's like, okay, well, I was spending $30 on a common. Like, can
Mhm.
I maybe I should just like go ahead and start scooping a couple, debuts or a couple rare challenges. Because if they do ever spike for a challenge, or if they do ever spike from I'm really trying to be a lot more careful though. Islam makes sense because he could be champion for say he beats Volkanovski.
I think he will, to be honest.
Oh, I mean,
I love Volk. I love Volk, and
I
I
have
think
no idea
he
what's going
is
to happen there.
after
I think
seeing
Volk
after seeing Volk just destroy Max Holloway, I was just like, "Oh my gosh, this guy is." And I already loved him before, but I just think Islam is just too strong and too good. Like I don't understand how someone beats him.
Yeah, I don't know, and he's bigger. And
Yeah,
if you look at Islam right now, dude, he looks scary. But at the same time,
he looks.
Volk has to go up 10 pounds, and Volk is a he's a beefcake, dude. He's got a lot.
Mhm.
So Volk could end up being a lot scarier at 155 than we think. He
Yeah,
could be a lot like not cutting that extra 10 pounds could be like really big. Like that could be huge. Maybe he's a great 155, like, and we just didn't know it.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, I'm so excited to see it. I just could. I guess the thing is, I can't bet against Islam. I feel like if I had to bet against one of those 2, it'd be Volk. That's where it comes down to, where I'm like, it's hard for me to see either of
Which
them
is funny because
losing.
one Volk is the pound for pound number 1 fighter
Yeah,
in the world.
100%.
Which
Yeah.
is
That's what's
it's like
that's what's
Islam
crazy.
is like he made Charles look not great.
Dude, and yeah, and Charles is, like, incredible. The fact that he just, like, he made Charles look like it was, like he was working his way up to the top 10 still. Like, that
Yeah.
just did not look like he was fighting like a champion. So I just,
We
dude, I just took a look, and there's only 14 challengers that I don't have. The two big ones are Hamzat and Usman. So I don't know if I'm gonna go and get them all, but I was kind of pleasantly surprised to see that I've got, most of them.
Okay, wrapping the year up, there was a lot of really cool things for the year, but we should talk about, okay, well, looking forward into the next year. As my hat
Yeah.
looks very stupid on my head right now, but I don't care.
No, it's
Um,
good.
Looking forward into the next year, we should talk about, like, okay, we had some really wild news at the end of this year. We had a pay-per-view that made Patty the Batty a heel, which is crazy. So we went from Patty the Batty to being like one of the biggest hype trains to being one of the biggest heels.
Mhm.
Same thing happened with Hamzat, one of the
Correct.
biggest hype trains into being one of the biggest heels. We've
Yeah.
got now a no lightweight champion. Yuri became the lightweight champion, beat the oldest not lightweight, sorry, light heavyweight champion. Yuri beating the oldest light heavyweight champion of all time. You're in Glover Teixeira, to then all of a sudden being like
I'm
blowing out
injured.
his shoulder so bad that like that people are like he'll probably never be champion again. And then we had a light heavyweight fight with crazy judging where people were like, okay, it was a tie. And now Dana, instead of giving it a rematch or doing anything like that, just goes, all right, Jamal Hill is fighting Glover in Brazil.
Yeah.
So if we look at those moments, we have a Jamal Hill rare moment, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's only like 28 bucks right now.
$27. We have a Jamal
27.
Hill 12,000 mint. And then we
Yeah.
have Glover. What do we have for Glover? Just the one moment, right?
Yeah, just the champion moment, I think, right?
Oh yeah, championship moment, and then the new rare that you got for
Oh,
burning. So the
correct.
first challenge coming out of the next year, because I think the very first pay-per-view is Brazil. Yep, it is 283. Will be in Brazil, and it will the main event will be Jamal Hill versus Glover Teixeira for the light heavyweight championship. So the last moment that you could win,
Wow.
there's 157 of them. I guarantee you will be a part of the challenge. If over the holidays, if
Yeah.
we think the
Well,
challenge reward is
on
going to be worth it, these are good pickups.
yeah, I might have just literally bought that $27 Jamal Hill after you said that. I didn't
Oh,
realize it was
nice.
coming up that quick.
Yeah. It's the first pay
Yeah,
per view of the year.
because I already got the Glover. The UFC is going to be so good this year. There's so many crazy fights that we already know that are going to happen, and there's so much opportunity for some like insane stuff that like isn't even like on paper or like has been discussed like publicly. Like Adesanya, I know it's going to want like a shot at the belt again, and he's going to have to fight some crazy people, and now he's going to be the underdog, so we might see an Adesanya fight where he's not so like calculated and conservative, but he gets a little more like aggressive.
Yeah. So the 284, the next pay per view, which this will be February, will be the world title fight, or basically the pound for pound best fighter, Makachev versus Volkanovski.
Yeah.
We also have Yair versus Emmett, and this will be the
Ooh.
featherweight number one contender fight, which is almost, I mean, this is basically going to be a car, like a, so, and we have a Yair moment and we have an Emmett moment.
Josh Emmett, a UFC strike collector himself.
Yes. Which he had like one of the most expensive moments for a while. It was like 13 to 16 bucks, the most expensive commons for a while.
Yeah.
It's also the smaller edition size, which I like. Okay, either one of these are going to be good moments to pick up. The problem with Islam's moments dipped once he got the fandom moment, because the
Yeah.
fandom moment is a third of the mint side. But Volk, I didn't realize it. Okay, so Volk only has a 75 size for his champion moment, and then
Yeah.
he's got that belted moment, which is one of the only other belted moments. It's a fandom moment, and $9, dude. But the problem is it's 3,000 people. But this might be worth stacking.
Interesting. Yeah, I got 2 or 3 of those, I think.
You do? You picked up a couple extra. See, I didn't buy
Yeah.
any extra. This was such a terrible photo, dude. I love Korean Zombie, and this was such a wreck.
He's just
Um,
absolutely outclassed.
Yeah, but this is one of those moments that, like, every time I look at it, with the average sale is $18 and it's the low ask right now is 9. It's just maybe it's just worth picking a couple up, you know?
I think it's definitely worth having 2 of
Yeah, at least
or
having
3,
2. The
but
pro
yeah,
thr At 3,000 though, dude, even if it becomes in a challenge, how much can it
it's
actually go up?
it's
It's really gotta be
exactly.
like, do you like Volk? Wait, this is his debut moment, right? This
Yeah.
happened before the 75, champion moment. So this would technically be his debut moment, I think. Which that's really confusing, and this is why I kind of want them to have badges.
I think as we get closer to more fighters having multiple moments, and that's, like, a more common thing, I think we will see badges.
Yeah, I think we need badges because, like, right, like, I don't know, other big fights that are happening this year, ties on a skid, 2-fight losing skid.
Yeah.
That's a bummer. Who do we have? Brock's never gonna fight again. Can't believe that moment's $32. Aldo is retired. There's a lot of expensive moments that are Uriah Hall retired. What are
Yeah.
big moments that like are going to be big? Like I'm trying to think of like what's the next step, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
This
yeah.
moment feels like the next step. At $85, 500 of them just feels like this in the Camaro moment, like they're gonna fight each other again.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good one. That's a good catch because the Kamara is a 500 also, so they're, like, pretty comparable in, like, mint count, which means that there's a good chance that, UFC Strike would do a challenge where, like, if you need both, neither of them like just completely crushes the other in terms of like mint count. So it would totally make sense for them to require both in a challenge.
We also have McGregor coming back this year.
I know. I know. I
He's
super
gotta
on.
make his comeback this year, right? So, I
If
mean,
he does, yeah. I mean, I feel like it's a 50-50 to be honest.
it does feel about that way. It will be 6 months. It will be summer. It'll probably be the summer. Because he's gotta be in the a thing for 6 months. This is just an insane knockout from, you know, right before he won the championship. I think Alex P, this has gotten up to $300 before. What it
Correct. I think
now?
it dipped like super crazy
Oh,
though.
it's way cheaper than that right now, but this might be something to get because he has to fight everybody. Like, right, like,
Correct.
remember, he's only fighting the best people. This is no longer like say if you don't believe in the hands of stone, you don't believe in them, but
Yeah.
right now, there's a lot of people who don't wanna fight him.
Who was it? There was someone recently who said that
Hamzat.
Pereira. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hamzat wants to fight him. Was also saying that Pereira's like scared of him. So I
Oh,
mean that.
also, Pereira was saying Hamzat scared of him, and I think Hamzat turned down the fight.
Yeah, I mean I think that fight will happen at some point, and that is going to be a barn burner. That.
Hamzat just yeah, he'll either crush him or he'll get knocked out right away.
Yeah.
It like I don't think Alex has any. There's no way he can handle his ground game. But I
No
mean, he
chance.
also has the lights off button. We know how good Israel Adesanya is. We know how many title defenses he's had. We know what he's done. And we know that he was winning that fight. And then in the final round, similar to the Leon Edwards situation, he just came out and he knew he was losing. He knew what he had to do to win, and he did it. And when you have that type of power in your hands in the 5th round, that's scary.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's the thing with him is like if you're fighting Perea, you have to be perfect from start to finish.
Yeah, there's a no mess up. There's a no mess up clause, right? Which is a problem. It's going to be a problem for a lot of fighters. Now, good wrestlers who maybe he's scared of the takedown a lot more. The thing was, we saw that he took down Izzy. I don't know. It was a very strange fight. I actually really liked that fight. It sucked. I was bummed when Izzy lost. I'm not gonna lie. I thought
Yeah, same here. Same
I was
here.
super bummed, but I loved how well Izzy is taking it, and he's still living his life. I think it's not going to change him as a fighter. It's not like, but I do think he's got an issue where he's now lost to this guy 3 times, and one of them
Yeah.
on the biggest stage.
Alex Pereira was put on this world to be Israel Adesanya's like #1 hater.
Yeah. Yeah, and he is.
Yeah,
Like he
the fact that he is like just followed him wherever he's went and like stopped him is crazy.
I mean, am I wrong to think that like at $60, this is his debut moment and it's versus one of a lot of people want a Sean Strickland moment. It's a super clean knockout in the first round. It gets him to the title fight. He
I
might
think
be
I
champ.
think
I don't know.
this
This might be a pretty decent moment.
I think this moment's worth picking up a little later when it goes down a little more.
You think it goes down more than about 60? Yeah, like if you could buy it,
I
if you
think
can get it in
so.
the 50s, I still think it's good. There, some people have bought some. There's been some fire sales.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
If
I
you could
think you
buy it
can get
under
this for
50, to
30,
me, it
40.
feels very hard not to pick up.
Yeah, I
This is
agree
the
with
same
that.
thing with Islam to me, because there's also only 600 of them.
Yeah, no, I agree with that 100%. If you can get
Say
him
he
below
defends his
50.
say he defends his title for 4 times. That's crazy. You know what I mean? Like, what if
I mean,
he? What if
I
that?
mean that's a big jump. I don't know if Pereira can do that.
I'm just saying. Say he does. That's
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but that's such a massive there's a lot that has to happen between now and then for him to defend it 4 times.
I
Is
don't
he
even
gonna
know who they're putting in against him though. Well,
Yeah.
okay,
Well,
so
Adesanya will be one of those 4 for sure, right?
Adesanya. Yeah, it'll be
And
Adesanya.
so, like, that alone, I don't know if he can beat Adesanya again.
It needs to be Robert Whitaker because this is where I think Robert Whitaker could get the belt back, and that's what I'm really hoping for.
That would be crazy.
Sean
Hamzat will
Strickland
probably be
just
Ham
lost to Cannonier, which is a problem. Which because Sean wanted to go back and fight him.
Yeah.
Uh, Cannonier, do you think Cannonier can beat him? Cannonier's got big
I was
hands.
about to say Cannonier has got insane punching power, and even though like he lost, Adesanya beat him pretty easily. It was
It was
more just
just
because
boring. It was just
yeah,
boring. It
it
just
was
was.
more because Adesanya realized Cannonier is like knew how to counter punch, and so he just kind of had to sit there and pick him apart. Pereira is not that type of fighter. Cannonier versus Pereira would be just in a slugfest.
Yeah, I'd be interested in that fight actually.
Yeah,
It
so
would
I
be
mean,
so poorly that I don't think they could sell that fight though.
no, they could not. No one would want to,
Because Cannonier is not very exciting. He's
and
not
neither
very
is
magmatic.
Pereira.
And Perea has actually come out and people are really liking him right now. If he could
People,
speak English, I think Perea might actually be a huge sale because he is talking a lot of trash right now. He called out
yeah,
Brendan Schaub and said he would beat Brendan Schaub, who's a podcaster now and doesn't even fight anymore,
good for him.
and was like, "I'll beat your ass." Like he like went on Ariel Hawani and like
I
did
didn't know
some
he did that. I love
yeah.
that.
Dude, he's like made a bet with it because I guess Brendan Schaub thought that Israel would win, and so he like made a huge thing. I don't know. He's actually
Dude, that's
making some
awesome.
riffs where like people really are starting to really like him in the world.
Yeah, I
There's
think
also a
I think
ton
he
of
ends up
Adesanya haters out there who are
correct.
kind of like
I think a lot of people were happy to see Adesanya lose, and I think on top of that, Pereira just when you put him against Adesanya, like Adesanya has this big personality. He's like funny. He doesn't take himself too seriously, and then Pereira looks like a Terminator. Like he just like has the same face. Like he's just there for one thing. So I think when those two go against each other, it's like the ultimate sell. But when you put Pereira against Cannonier, they're both kind of more like non-emotional, like Terminator types. And so,
yeah.
like, who would want to? There's going to be no hype leading up to that fight.
I
It would
agree.
almost have to be like there would have to be a different main event, and that fight would have to be under.
Yeah, which is crazy to think that the 185, which is one of the best classes in the sport, would not be the main event.
Yeah, but I think in order to sell the card, maybe you'd have to have a co-main event or something like that. But you'd have to have like a bigger draw, and then put that underneath it. Or
But you'd have to put the championship last still. You just have to
yeah,
have
well, you
like
could have two. You get two championships, and then the main
you
event is
could do a double
is
champ
a
fight.
more exciting one. You know?
I think we're obviously getting okay, so London, we're getting we're probably Patty again. I would assume Patty
He
again.
has to fight in London.
The problem is like who does he fight now? He beat Jared Gordon and now he's got to fight like real There's nobody he could, and Jared Gordon's good. So it's not that I'm saying like Patty can't beat other people, but a lot of people do not think he won that fight. We still have a couple of really good, like we got what's going to happen with Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley might be champ. Like, is he fighting Aljamain Sterling? Like, what's happening there? Are we going to get what's going to happen? He's a number one contender.
Yeah, and it's like what's going to happen with Peter Yan even on top of that?
Or
like
is Triple C coming back? Right? Is he actually coming back into the? He said he's in the USADA testing pool. I mean, he's making all kinds of videos about the weight class. He still looks a little big, but Henry Cejudo is supposed to be back, and they said he wants a title fight right off the bat. And Aljamain Sterling sounds like he is willing to fight him. Right?
Yeah. So, well, and then even if we're going down that route, besides him and Connor that we've already talked about, John Jackson might be trying to come back.
John Jones, yeah.
John Jones, sorry, John Jones. Why did I say John Jackson? Shout out to John Boy Beats.
That's why you said it. But
yeah, but yeah, John Jones might be coming back too. Like,
supposed to be coming back, and apparently, I've heard Francis Ngannou settled their dispute.
I've heard that too. I think
with the UFC
fight soon.
And then I heard that was a lie, and it was, and he's like, it's further away than ever. All right, report: John Jones penciled in for UFC 285. Ngannou, Blades are both being eyed as the opponent.
I mean, I would love to see Ngannou fight Jones. I think
that would be a bigger fight. I still would love to see Curtis Blades get that opportunity too.
I would either one. I'd be stoked, just because it'd be interesting to see John Jones come back, and then if he wins against Blades, then it sets you up for an even bigger Ngannou fight. Because if you have him fight Ngannou at first, I guess the risk would be he's not nearly as good as he used to be, and Ngannou just washes the floor with him. But if he fights Blades and then beats Blades, the hype around Ngannou Jones would be just next level.
I think Blades is a harder fight. I don't know, like.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's just my bias, but I feel like Ngannou can just.
Well, I'm just saying, like, Blades has more tools, right?
Yeah.
Ngannou is a great fighter, and he has, again, knockout. He's got lights out power, right? Blades is a very great wrestler, and he's got knockout power.
Correct.
So I feel like John Jones is a really good wrestler. He's still much smaller than Curtis Blades. Even at, I don't know. I haven't seen him fully like fight as a heavyweight yet. Nobody has.
Yeah.
But he, when I look at the old John Jones fights, John Jones though is literally like considered the GOAT by a lot of people.
Correct.
Dude, we'll get a debut John. I assume we get a debut John Jones moments this year.
Oh yeah, that would be amazing.
But yeah, either way, just John Jones coming back. The wonderful thing about that is it doesn't have to be against Francis to sell the pay-per-view. John Jones coming back is going to sell the pay-per-view.
Correct. He could pretty much fight anyone, and we would all tune in for that.
I'd say like we could wrap this up by doing something that's kind of fun. Let's just say what we look forward to the most out of this year, and said like what is it that you're looking forward to the next year in UFC Strike?
I think the two things would be, one, I hope that they tweak their website and like get it fixed, because I do think it's really holding them back from being more like, it's something that if you're a UFC fan and you don't know what UFC Strike is and you go and check it out, it's not super intuitive and accessible. And I think when they make that fix, that will be a huge improvement where, random people see an ad at a UFC fight and they go and they actually like figure UFC Strike out and they actually like really like it. And they're like, oh my gosh, I want to collect this stuff. So that would be one. And then the other thing too is I'm super, super, super excited to see how we do Series 2, what happens to Series 1 post like it being done, in terms of both like how the market reacts and also how like champion moments are treated by UFC Strike. We know champion moments will still give you access to the Champions Club through Series 2. What
if you need the second?
Yeah.
Oh, you still get one. Will still get you through Series 2.
Yeah, correct. But so it'll be interesting to see like what Series 2 Champion Club moments are worth. Will they have any different utility than the first ones? I feel like there's so much potential for like IRL utility Like UFC Strike seems to really be focused on that and really be willing to try and do, like, I mean, people hate the poster that they did, but still that's them doing something, like in terms of like, here's something, a tangible item
Right.
as a reward for your digital collectibles. And I just think like that's what I'm most excited about is how they continue to evolve that. So like I said, the Champions Club, will it change at all? Or will it just be, I mean, they don't need to change anything. It's great. But then will there be like opportunities to earn like UFC Strike merch? Will there be more opportunities to like get access to like fighters or maybe like some sort of like Champions Club-esque thing
Speaking
where,
of, have you gotten any merch?
I mean, UFC Strike doesn't have any, I don't think. I got the
They
poster.
I got the champion. Well, there's the championship club.
Oh, yeah, yeah, the Champions Club merch. Yeah. But
Did you
I'm
get
saying,
that?
no, 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 I don't own a
Oh,
Champions
yeah, oh,
merch
yeah, oh,
though.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I was supposed to get a T-shirt, and it's
They said
definitely
it's
never come.
they just announced that it's coming in like January.
Okay.
So yeah, they recently they sent that out in the announcement. But yeah, so I mean, just I would love to see some like you even just like very generic UFC Strike merch, stuff like that. Like I just feel like there's such an opportunity here with UFC Strike, and that's why I'm the most excited by it. And I've probably put the most of my time into focusing on UFC Strike as opposed to Top Shot and NFL all day lately. So yeah, I would say those are the two things: the website and the IRL utility. What about you?
Yeah, I'm very excited about the IRL utility. I'm very excited to this year. I really want to try to make an event. Like that's my goal
Yeah,
for the year. Is I want to
same.
make an event, and I want to actually make as much content out of it as I can. I want to make it's something that matters to me personally. It's something that I think that needs to happen more for UFC Strike is and I don't feel like I've been doing a very good job at keeping doing that. But I think content for UFC Strike is important, and we got to push
Yeah,
it. And you and I are trying to do that some. And I think this year I want to make it even better. So that's something I'm looking forward to.
yeah. Well, I
One
mean,
of
with
those
that,
things is seeing a real event. I want to
yeah,
be at a real event and see what they do. Two is like what I'm looking forward to and hoping for. I'm hoping for maybe less moments. I don't know if I still want drops, but I
yeah,
think somehow I might be in the space for even more burning that I didn't
hmm,
expect and maybe more. I don't know, really just finding the clever ways to reward series holders because I do think that there's a lot of people who have been even through some issues that UFC Strike had near kind of whatever. I think that there's been some people who are still like super holders and are really trying their best to be like support it. And it is going to be a smaller community than the NBA. It's going to be a smaller community than NFL. So there's got to
yeah,
be really good ways to support or even just give you opportunities to win or reward other people. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'm also just looking forward to really great selection of moments. That's what I want. I want really cool moments to start getting printed. Like I'm looking forward to that first Chuck versus Tito. I'm looking forward to that first, like some of the classic vintage stuff that might bring some people in. And then also just some like debuts and badges.
uh-huh,
Like that's what I think am looking for in series two. Some vintage moments that are going to bring people in, but at the same time, I think the real benefit is still not going too far back. Like we want those for the collectors, but I also think that like to push the sport forward, you still got to be like we got to be pushing rookies and we got to be pushing new stuff. So it's kind of a weird. It's in a weird state, you know.
hmm. Yeah, no, I feel that for sure, and I definitely think maybe in series two we see badges get introduced because there starts to be multiple moments per fighter. I don't know, it'll be really interesting. I agree with all that. I do think it's cool that UFC Strike hasn't sold a pack for money in like 3 or 4 months. Like they
Yeah, I
did
guess
the
they haven't, have they?
yeah, they did the burn challenge for the Brocktober, for that Brock Lesnar pack drop, and then they've kind of just chilled, and I think that's good. One, so they can kind of figure out what their strategy is. I would assume for this new year, how they're going to approach it, and then two, just because things are down, the economy's down, moments are down, so extracting all that money from the marketplace probably isn't the healthiest thing for the product long term. I think that's the one thing that I really like about UFC Strike. It just seems like the leadership involved is really like making dynamic decisions that are based upon like the data that they're seeing and the feedback that they're getting, as opposed to saying like, nope, this is the way we're doing it, and like we will just mint this stuff to death, whether you like it or not. I really do feel like the challenges for the most part are really well thought out. The pack drops, the burning, all that stuff seems to be like really on point. There hasn't been a point in a very long time where I've scratched my head and asked myself like what in the world is going on with this product? Like I feel the decisions they're making make sense.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be a good year. I think it could only get better, and that's their goal is to make it better.
To your point, we definitely gotta go to get to an event together and do some content, do some interviews, hang out with collectors and
That would
get
be
to
really, really good. But I feel like it still is like lacking the community behind it, where there is so much good content out there for the UFC. It's
Mhm.
surprising to me more people haven't been like, well, I'll just still be UFC content. I'm just going to also cover what's happening with Strike, and it's something that I feel like I want to do, and it's something that I have fun doing and enjoy paying attention to. So yeah,
No, it'd be super cool to like go, dude. When I saw people posting pictures of them with Nagano, Volk, Usman, I was just like absolutely blown away. I was like, holy cow! Like, imagine how cool it would have been if we were down there interviewing those guys and hanging out with them. I feel
yeah.
like that's like where the top content is. So hopefully, not only am I excited for UFC Strike and UFC this year, but also hopefully you and I can continue to grow what we're doing with the UFC Strike content.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited. I'm excited for this next step, but a big one. I am with you. Yeah, just for new people, I'm really big one for me is the push to people who are fight fans. Who I just want to make people not think NFTs are all a scam, and just like moving away from this like NFT thing and being like, oh, hey, this is a really cool collectibles and really cool
Mm,
clips, and maybe we can push that more and more on the rabid UFC fans that are out there, instead of having them hate it, which
yeah.
like, let's hope that's not the case because I did see some end of the year things where end of the year of what happened with the UFC this year and like people like kind of wrapping up like all the coolest things. A lot of people were like in support of Nate Diaz's like hating UFC Strike because
Yeah.
everybody just looked at us as like an NFT, any NFT, and at the end of the year, how many NFT scams have we heard of?
Yeah.
So I think we need to where NBA Top Shot is honestly trying to pivot away from the NFT thing. I honestly believe, and they're going back into sports collectibles, and
Mhm.
it gets so funny that they're switching back to that pattern of speech.
Yeah.
But it's what UFC Strike should do too, and I think that people would like it if they just understood what it was. It's cool. It's like
Yeah.
it's like you said IRL. It's like it's activation style stuff. It's not just it's a
Yeah.
collectible that could get you something. It's not an NFT. If as long as we don't look at it as just NFTs for money and flipping and this, but we look at it as like, dude, we like the sport and we like these things, and I believe in like what this could get you down the road.
Yeah,
So,
and I think as long as UFC Strike continues to deliver as they have, I think that'll eventually happen. I went to the Jimmy Kimmel Bowl game at the SoFi Stadium
oh really?
with Dapper. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was a terrible game, but there was several like people that collect like different moments that were there because they were VIP, and I think most of them were all day because it was like a football, like it was a football game
Hmm.
that we went to. But I was telling them about UFC Strike, and one of the guys was like, "Dude, I need to buy a champion moment. Like, I go to UFC events. I love the UFC." And then another guy like bought a Conor McGregor on the spot.
Oh
Like,
really?
yeah. So like, I do think if UFC Strike just continues to deliver and consistently make like these like measured logical decisions, I do think like people will grow to like at least give it a chance and be like, oh, maybe this isn't a scam. Because like to your
Right.
point, like I think just when people hear NFT, they think cash grab or scam or something like that. And so UFC Strike can lean into like calling themselves digital collectibles all they want, but ultimately, like it's just going to have to be something that they prove over time. Where, like I said, I think if I was to pitch UFC Strike to someone, I would just talk about the whole Champions Club thing. And like the pitch of the Champions Club is, look, if you're a fan of the UFC, you have to own one of these moments. Like there's no reason you should not own a Champions Club moment if you like love the UFC and you already like go to UFC fights, you know? And I think as more and more people understand that and see like the access that it provides, I think like the product will sell itself.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think that's very true. But no, man. I mean, hey, dude, it's gonna be a big year. So
Yep.
2023 is gonna be cool. I'm training and we're making cool content and things are gonna be awesome and it's gonna be fun. And I by the end sometime during the year, me and you are gonna get together. We're gonna go to an event and we're gonna cover the hell out of it. And it's gonna be awesome because Vegas is not that far for you, and they are also doing way more events on the road this year. So, events
Yeah.
in this area. It's gonna be a good year. There's gonna be a lot of really good fights. Like I said, I think you guys should be looking at rookie fighters or fighters that are on the come up. I think it's the time for the changing of the guard is happening,
Yeah.
and it's going to be a big year for that. I bet you by the end of the year, there's a lot of people that are new, kind of like people who you weren't thinking are going to be these top 5 fighters now, and they're going to
Yeah.
have big fights this year, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So it's a perfect time to be, if you can think that far in the future, it's the perfect time to be like picking up those fighters that are maybe not like your top 5 big name fighters that are literally on their way out. Maybe they're these guys coming up in the ranks, but they're about to make moves, and in a year, a lot can happen.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Well,
Oh yeah, dude.
thank you so much to everyone for checking this out, and thank you for hanging out with me and Seth throughout the year as we've
Yes.
covered UFC Strike and ripped packs and talked strategy and just learned a lot. I thank you from me to you, Seth, for teaching me so much about the UFC. I think before UFC Strike and before we started doing this stuff and texting each other and just talking about the UFC more, I definitely was more of a casual UFC fan, and I feel like now I wouldn't call myself hardcore, but I know so much more about the UFC. I know so much more about fighting. I know so
Yeah.
many more fighters and all that. So thanks for hanging out with me and showing me the ropes as well.
Bro, thanks for wanting to learn and do it. Like also, like it makes me have more of a drive to follow and do more stuff because it's people to enjoy things with. Where
Yeah,
before I was like completely so like I don't have people I watch fights with. And so the UFC Strike community, which is one of the greatest things, which I can be appreciative for the years, gave me people to enjoy fighting with, which made
yeah,
me enjoy fighting even more.
yeah,
So
definitely.
yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us all year and watching this video. And we will be back in 2023 with a lot more UFC Strike content. And hopefully, we can start to put out stuff a little more regularly, start to maybe, like Seth said, go to some events and really cover the hell out of it and, continue to have a lot of fun with what we love. So,
That's right.
yeah. Thank you guys so much. And we will see you guys next year.
Bye. Sub to Jeb's channel. Bye. And check out our channel soon.
Hell yeah.
Bye.
See ya.
Later.